5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We just slowed down.
Oh my
We are
God.
live.
Walking my
Buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes.
How is everybody doing today? Welcome to a beautiful week. No, not a beautiful week.
End of the week.
A beautiful end of the week, but it's been a weird week. Definitely the skies has turned to different colors on us. The smoke has slowed us down a little bit, but we've had a great week. I'm sure we've actually had a conversation in the backstage, but we actually had a great week, each and one of us. Please let us know how you did. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Real Estate Unwrapped. I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Oh my God, we've been fighting.
Yeah, we're gonna have
We've been asking ourselves some questions. Not everybody agrees, which is great because not everybody has the same as a different opinion, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So today's topic is really, I think it's let's pierce that bubble thing. Let's talk about what happened this week, because in that short week, a few things really happened within our little world in New York and Northeast America. Maybe more in New York. They were like a little bit unusual, right? It felt
a little bit.
I know. I felt in Blade Runner. I felt I was living in Blade Runner 1.
Oh my God.
For the most part.
Wow. Not even Blade Runner 2. Blade Runner 1. It reminded me of one of those throwback movies. Like I was telling you guys, it felt like the scene from Mad Max.
Yeah, something like that. It was crazy.
It felt weird, right? Yeah. It really felt
weird and eerie. And the smell was interesting. The air. I can tell you one thing. I made a mistake on is it Tuesday, Wednesday night. I made a mistake to walk home. It's not a long walk. It's about 20 minutes from the office in Forest Hills to Kew Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Middle of the night, I'm coughing up some phlegm that is like a little bit brownish, and I'm like, what is going on? Nice. I'm like, nice. It's very nice. Wow. Yeah.
No, listen, I stepped out real quick. Actually, it's funny enough. I was in Pennsylvania Tuesday. So I was there. We got there Monday night. Tuesday, we started noticing a little bit of smoke in PA. And I was just like, I'm like, damn, it smells like a campfire.
Yeah.
It had a campfire smell to it.
Yeah. On top of not only that, and probably all the toxic things that were burning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, for me, I forget where I was, but for me, it felt like somebody's house was burning for some reason.
Yeah,
Man, it's taking a long time for them to take that out. So,
what was sad, and how we all suffer from PTSD. You know what? The first thing I heard it so many times from agents, from people on the street who were like sort of, when things happen, people are a bit more friendly. They want to pay attention to their neighbor a little bit more. It was reminiscing of 9/11. So people were talking about the smell at, the aftermath of 9/11. And I think it brought back a lot of anxiety and fear in people, It's not the same at all. But
I don't think it smelled. I mean,
No, I know, but this is what.
I actually visited the site. After. It wasn't like right after. It was probably like maybe a week, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
After the incident happened, and I remember vividly that there was a smell. Thank you. I was 2. I was 2 years old in 2001. So that makes me how old now?
25, right. Something like that. Yeah.
22, actually.
Yeah.
22. I'm 22. Sweet.
Yeah. No, but you were very young. You were like a kid. You were like.
I was 15, 16 years old, 15, 16. And I went back and I remember the smell. This smell was completely different. This smell smelled like a campfire. But the smell in that time, not to take it there, but it had an extra scent in the smell that was like burning. Anywho, it was a different scent.
This is the conversations I had with people, again, walking, from, basically like the neighbors going across the street and stuff like that. This is what this is the few things that were brought back to my attention. And this is what it was reminiscent to people
It
about.
looked that way. Yeah.
I'm saying us as a, this is where PTSD, and this is a little bit of those symptoms. It brings back some fear and anxiety,
Yeah.
It's
I was waiting to hear the sirens from The Purge start.
Oh my God, this is I like your very optimistic outlook on life. I
was driving through. I was on the Cross Island, and I literally saw smoke as if there was something burning next to the highway.
Okay.
Like that's how it was, like covered in smoke.
So
And
what did it do? What did it do to your week as far as activity, as far as the buyers, the sellers? How did they respond to that?
Well, interestingly enough, I had a closing this week that, it almost didn't go through for silly reasons, but ultimately we made it happen. But I think that triggered some wackiness in people, in my opinion, with everything that was going on. It's just like, I feel like people were just maybe on edge. To your point, it was just like people being on edge because we don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like the sky was yellow and then the sky was red.
And the sun was red. Yes.
There were moments you look up at the sun. You look up at the sun and the sun was freaking, you could actually look at the sun. Like that was crazy. It almost looked like a solar eclipse. You know what I mean? But it didn't, like it like people wise, business wise, like it was still happening. Like I was still running to show appointments, but it is what it is, I was just curious to see how it would affect business overall, outside of the fact that, like imagine if that was something that was going to be lingering around for some time.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine that. Well, we're glad it did it, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it did, I think it would just be more of a slow process. I mean, I've actually had a couple of cancellations due to people who've been working outside and they couldn't do any showings the next day, right? However, I'm actually, I do work with a lot of teachers, and they recently just closed down the school, so it's in that sense of the matter. I'm actually getting a lot of people saying, hey, I'd like to see something. I'd like to see something. I'd like to see something. What I'm seeing also is that a lot of folks now are just wearing a lot of masks, just to protect themselves in that sense. So we already had the whole scare portion of COVID. So most people already are sort of used to wearing the mask.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I'm seeing, it's for me in the sense of working with the buyers, not the sellers obviously, but the buyers in that sense. They're afraid of just being out there too long, or they're just not wanting to go out because they were already exposed for so long. So if we were to have this as a long period or a longer time, I think that those who are doing a lot of showings in one day, would see a diminishing number of how many showings it will do for that one moment. I don't even think open houses will be will have that much of an impact throughout the course of the week or weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, so for you guys that are tuning in, we kind of wanted to make this more like a conversation that we can all have. So if you do have any questions, definitely throw it in the chat. But ideally, what we wanted to run towards was topics or questions or things that we're experiencing as we go into the field, whether you're a listing agent, buyer's agent, dual agent, secret agent, whatever type of agent you want to be. We're just curious to know what are some of the things that you're experiencing right now in the field. So definitely comment, share your ideas. I want it to be more like a mastermind in a sense, where we're just now kind of brainstorming on what's going to happen next. Clearly the summer is around the corner. And in my opinion, I feel like even though summer is like what, the 20th or the 21st of June, something 21st, like that.
22nd, yeah, something like that.
So even though summer begins on that day, technically speaking, it almost feels like summer starts after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, we're also running into the summer market. We're now dealing with the families that are trying to purchase or find the property before the new school year starts. So there's a lot of things that we're encountering. So I'll kick it off. I'll share with you guys. It's interestingly enough, what I'm noticing is I'm working with a lot of buyers out here in the Long Island market. where we're starting to notice that it's just getting ridiculous. Like, I'll be honest with you, it almost feels like the summer of 2022.
Wow.
We were making offers. I got a client that is
despite the rates, despite
the
the
rates,
talk of the interest rates and stuff. So
correct.
which proves, prove the demand is really, 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 really strong. Yeah.
I think even though, for example, right, like you're dealing with a client that's pre-approved for 600,000, and they were pre-approved for 600,000, some time ago, 5% interest rate. Now we're almost at 7.
We are
right?
at 7.
We're at 7. I saw the other day, I got Wells Fargo sending me rates updates every single day, and
Right.
I saw it said 6.99%.
No, this is with discount points as well. So we are
with discount points, correct.
Yeah. So let's not shoot, yeah.
So I think what people are missing is, for example, you're dealing with a buyer. They're approved for 600,000. The interest rates are at 7%. Now they're no longer approved for 600,000. They're now approved for 500,000, right? And it's like people just get this misconception that I'm just whatever using hypotheticals. I'm definitely not a mortgage professional, so do not. I'm not giving any professional advice here, okay? But I'm just throwing hypotheticals, right? Whatever, 550, big difference, right?
Yeah.
Prices are going up. But what we have to keep in mind is the same way that your buyer was affected, there's buyers out there that were pre-approved for 700, 800, 900,000 that have now been reduced and are now in the market price point that you work in. You know what I mean? So don't get so hung up on the buyer that you're working with right now that maybe doesn't qualify for what they used to. We need to remember that we're constantly generating business and we're always out there trying to find new business. Hence, we got to find the new buyers that are qualifying for the price point that you're working in.
Yeah.
So funny enough, the one buyer that I had, they actually made, right now, we've already made 6 offers on properties that we've gotten outbidded on. What were you gonna say, Gigi?
Yeah, I guess I mentioned to you guys yesterday, one of our agents sharing, as we were having our cold calling night on Tuesday, sharing their experiences with buyers in Nassau. I feel like she's going through 26 offers that were turned down from one buyer.
26.
So it's like yes. So I'm like, it's probably time. Let's powwow and let's change the direction. Let's and make sure we know what qualifications we have. Let's sit down with the buyer and ask and re-qualify again and see if we can find a different. Let's think outside the box. That's what the consensus is. Also, speaking with other agents, I've had in the co-op market, which is pretty insane because I'm seeing different layers of different things happening. Buyers really low-balling on their offers. Low-balling, like really, really bad.
Yeah.
You have a lot of those co-ops, and again, because the city is getting expensive and you have all those new requirements from local laws and so on and so forth to do things, all those co-ops have been hit with a maintenance increase, and if not maintenance increase, like assessments upon assessments, right? And we still have to deal with qualifying our buyers, the debt to income ratio, which is gonna, for us to keep it according to the requirements of each building. So keeping it at 25, 28%, 30% gets very difficult right now, right?
Oh yeah.
On top of it,
you know what? But I think that starts, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that starts with mortgage.
Right.
Sense. And I know we don't have anybody representing that right now, but the point is, that starts with them because I've actually had in the last 2 days 4 conversations with buyers who felt that they were, approval for co-ops, but when you really break it down, they're actually at 45% versus
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
so the approval. A lot of mortgage. I was going to come to this where they're walking around, understanding they need their approval to come and take a look at properties, but they don't. I beg some of those mortgage professionals out there to really get versed in co-ops. Really, really, that would really help us, like real estate professionals, because this is a disservice to the client. If you do not understand the mortgage process, in co-ops, then let's not qualify people. And then bluntly, even if you call the mortgage person, oh yeah, they qualify, their DTI is 45, and you're like 43, and they're like, oh, okay, and you're going over the numbers. You're like, what are we doing here? This is not, those poor people are not qualified at all.
Yeah.
On top of it, we're going to have the assessment. Then I'm seeing letters being received by shareholders all across Queens, because that's mainly what we're doing, where the assessments were about to end of June, and they're either being extended until the rest of the year, or they're being absorbed by the maintenance, where now maintenance are really like significantly higher than they were as base maintenance, because that's different calculations for debt to income ratio. So yes, it's a little bit difficult. So buyers take that and say, here, let's just cut off the price. And we're like, we're going to have some problems because the boards are not going to accept that price.
Yeah.
You understand? So
I'm coming across a lot more of those co-ops that are having, minimum sale prices.
Few issues right there.
Yeah. Where even before they didn't have that. They didn't have a minimum. Like some of these didn't have it, like, give you an example, Tabalt Apartments. I don't recall them having a minimum sale price, but yet now they don't want you to sell their apartments for less than a specific price,
Okay, so I'm seeing my...
Yeah, you're glitchy. We noticed it. Yeah, you're frozen now.
She's glitched now. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I've gone to a point as well. As far as price, I think they're just you have to understand that they're just trying to make sure that they're not losing values in these buildings. That's why.
Correct. I get that.
Price requirements on that is they're trying to make sure that a one bedroom that's worth, let's just say, $320 now. Yeah. That we're not selling it for $270 or $250. Yeah. Because of what's going on, right? And
ideally. But what I would say to you, brother, on that is, I think co-ops have to be a little more fair, right? It's like the stock market. Even though the market's crashing, these companies can't say, no, we can't let you sell less than this number because we don't want to lose value in our shares. At the end of the day, the market, the buyers are the ones that dictate it. You know what I mean? Right. So if that's what's happening, they shouldn't do that. I remember I had a family member that owned a co-op in Regal Park in those apartment complexes. So when the 2008, 2009 housing market crashed and everybody was like, oh, this is the perfect time to upgrade into a bigger place, people were trying to sell their co-ops. And these people, which are like family, extended family, they were trying to sell, couldn't sell it because there was a minimum sale price. For whatever reason, it took them forever. They finally sold it, but they sold it with a loss, which chances are they had to give the buyer a credit towards the purchase because they had to meet this minimum sale price.
Right. And we're witnessing a little bit of that right now, I think. We have a little bit of disparity.
I have to do that with a couple of my listings. It got to the point, like one of them, I feel terrible, but we've had people that gone through the board, didn't get approved, had to go back through the process again. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's been some time, and now just like everything else, people get desperate.
Yeah. I think that's desperation is really what it is. Yeah. And I mean, not for nothing. I mean, again, dealing with a lot of buyers in that sense, one of the few things I'm also noticing is that they're hearing the news. They hear the news. They hear that interest rates are going up, so on and so forth. They're seeing the market. They know which ones have been in the market for now 5-6 months, or 4-6 months, and in their eyes, I mean, most of them are already like $10,000 per month, kind of thing. It's like, or $20,000 per month. It's like their mindsets on that. Although they want to lowball the price, first thing is let's put some mindsets into this. You're buying this, yes, but don't buy it because you think it's this particular reason. It's the market's telling you, look, it's this particular price at first.
Right.
But at the same time, for everyone out there, we don't always know what the motivation of the seller is. So if you want to put in a price, go ahead. Let's go from there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, we don't know how fast the seller needs to sell. So
Can we talk about the elephant in the room in New York City?
Oh, hold on a
There's a lot of
second.
elephants. Which ones are you talking about? I think the circus already
The
came in town.
The circus is here to stay.
I think I thought Ringling
Sorry.
Brothers was done, but I mean it's still here. So
Okay. So you've seen earlier this. Oh my goodness, what happened? Oh, he's putting up the article. Earlier this week, Mayor Adams announced a plan. A plan. Nothing has been is set in stone. Okay,
This is a
housing
plan,
to
you said, right?
it's a plan. It's a plan. It's
This
nothing
is
is
a
set in
plan. I think I got it, G. This is a plan to help New Yorkers make more money. Is that what it
no,
is?
no. So New
No?
York Adams is has met with different leaders, religious leaders, and other leaders, to deal with the housing migrants that have been flooding the city since last year, and they came up with the idea that maybe private residences could host migrants, and those houses owners, could benefit from $125 per day per person their house, and that would I believe that will include food. So currently, the city and us
Wait,
taxpayers
hold
in
on,
New
hold on,
York
hold on, hold
City,
on. I'm sorry, hold on. 125 per person
per day.
and per day. And that has to include food?
Yes.
Impossible.
No, hold on. Hold on. This was in the talk because currently the city is paying $364 per person per day, including food.
In Manhattan?
In the city, 5 borough, where Manhattan is
Oh,
one borough, and we're all part of New York City.
yeah, I know, but
We have 5 boroughs in New York City, so we
listen,
part.
excuse
Let's
me.
not just have Manhattan. It's everybody.
Yeah, but you know how it is. You're in Queens, for example. I grew up in Queens, so it's like when you refer to the city, it's like, oh, Manhattan, that's just kind of
No, New York City. So
the
what?
five boroughs.
Let's hypothetically
yeah, I
talk
agree with
about.
you, Ed.
Let's talk about that. Let's say this is coming to fruition. What will this do to the multifamily market? What will this do to the
Let's
housing
ca-
market in general, residential market?
let's
No.
calculate something, right? I'll pull out my calculator, right? We're gonna crunch numbers because if this is the case, then I do feel that this is definitely gonna change the rental market moving forward.
He's laughing. It's like I'm like, I don't want to laugh, but this is serious. Like there are a lot of things we
It's
need to take in consideration while you're doing your calculations.
there's a lot of things that go through our minds, right? But I'm glad there's three of us here. And for those of you tuning in, definitely pitch your ideas. But I'm just thinking outside the box, right? Aren't we all supposed to think outside the box?
We are. And let's not even put too many, let's not put our political affiliations or our whatever we feel. Let's not put anything political in that conversation. Let's go with just facts and what we're
Okay.
dealing with. Yeah.
So
As real talk.
125. All
Yes.
right, let's do this, right? If I had a multi-family house, what do you guys think? Forest Hills, right? Let's say
Yeah.
Forest Hills. Multi-family house in Forest Hills. What would you say average what? 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom?
2 bedroom.
Yeah, two
Two
Yeah.
bedroom.
bedroom.
Let's go to
Two
two.
bedroom.
So how many people? I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know this. So I may learn something new today. But how many people can you house legally in a 2 bedroom apartment?
Up to
Five,
five
Up
between
to
5 and
five
6,
people.
5, 6. Yeah.
Five.
depending on the
Okay.
size of the.
So are we
Yeah.
going with the 125 number or are we going with the three? What did you say?
No,
Three
the 364 is for hotels and stuff. The 125 number.
hotels.
Yeah.
Wow, 125. So 125 times 5 people.
Yes.
That's $625 a day. Now you have to feed these people, right? You have to feed them.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to be cooking for everybody, I mean, how much food you spend per day?
Whoa! I gotta cook for them too.
I
Yo,
don't know. Or you just give them a stipend of how much? Okay, $50 a day for food. That's already a lot.
that's like one meal. In New York City, $50 can't even get you one grocery bag. Okay. Look, 625 a day for 5 people. If we
Yeah.
multiply that by 30 days, right? Let's just say 30 days.
Yeah.
That's $18,750
Per
per
month.
family per month.
Okay. What about per year?
Times that by 12. That's $225,000 a year.
Right. Okay. And then, you're able to feed them with that. Okay. Now the question is, it's great. You'd never get that much money with a person you would be renting to, right? Because, I mean, at this point, that might be very, very difficult for anybody with even a New York City job. Let's say a family making $120,000 a year to afford that kind of rent, right? Number two, qualifications of the tenant. This is what Israel was raising as a case earlier. How do we do we know who we're bringing to our house? Can we screen them?
Can we do a background check?
Right.
No,
And then
it's done on their end, so you don't know what's coming.
Right. And then are we going to be in a are we going to be are the rental laws going to apply? What's going to happen to that? Right. I mean, if you guys out there have other questions you want to ask, pause about this. If you heard of this, I mean, to me, if you're a landlord and let's say you don't even live in the house and an absentee landlord, sure, that might seem like a fantastic scenario. If your house flipper, that is even a lovely even type of arrangement. You might not even want to sell those houses. You'd renovate some and you just house people in there and you just rake in the money. Sure, I see where this is like something that, you see the dollar signs in there. But then it's like, okay, how much control do you have over the residents? I mean, they're going to live in your house. Are they going to be like tenants? Can you house some people even if you have a one family house and you have a spare bedroom, what do you do? Can you house people? Can you house 2 more people?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you house these individuals and God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah, somebody's coming in with a.
So if you house these individuals and God forbid something happens to you and no one finds out and they stay there and live in the property for the next 9 years, can they automatically now assume ownership of the property?
No.
Yes.
They'd be considered squatters.
Reverse.
They would be, but that's my point. They would technically, all right. So technically, they kind of are squatters from the beginning, but technically no, because you're getting paid to house them.
So the thing is, they're not really considered squatters because if you think about it, it's almost like an Airbnb version of it, right?
Oh,
so
yeah. So
if you look at it in that sense, right? It's a long-term version of an Airbnb or VRBO version of what's going on.
Okay.
But the rules, obviously are changed in that sense because again, you don't do any of that qualifications as you do for the tenant for an Airbnb or a VRBO person.
So let's ask the question. So how come? So now, how do we feel about Manhattan not being able to do Airbnbs and being able to house migrants?
So they can't do Airbnbs, but they could do air migrants and migrants.
I mean, I know. So you have a lot of questions that are still remaining unanswered. Francine says that it's a great way to make money. But when do they leave? Exactly. So now there are a lot of gray areas that need to be discussed. What is the length of the stay? What are the security measures being taken in account for New York residents? Is this, hypothetically, if this was passed, what would it do to the real estate market in New York?
Which leads into my next question. If you
And
decide
we're
to
being very
house,
politically correct right now. We're being extremely politically correct.
trust me,
Because
my
when
tongue
we
is
prepped this
bleeding.
thing, it was
My
like this.
tongue is bleeding from holding back.
You should. Please do. Please do.
So my question to you guys is, or to Mayor Adam, my question is this. If I decide to house these individuals, these migrants in my home, and also decide to sell my home at the exact same time, do I have to sell my home with the migrants inside the home, or do they have to vacate the property prior to closing?
I'm not even going to answer that.
That was a good question we got earlier.
That's
I am not answering this. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you do, I think like if you do have you making, let's say in the most ideal situation, everybody is screened, you know who you're gonna get into your home, and the city is actually paying $125 a day. By the way, you know where this money is coming from, right?
Yes, Ukraine.
No. Our tax
No?
money, okay? New York City
get outta
residents
here.
are paying for it. So, okay, now our
So,
taxes will be
again,
increased.
that's. I can't believe that. I didn't want to talk about this.
Israel is totally disgusting. He doesn't want to even talk about. All right,
I don't.
Yo,
I
so-
don't. No, let me explain
No.
why. Here's another reason why. Because honestly,
Go for
you
it.
know, when it
I
comes
wanna
down
hear
to
it.
break this down, how much was it for the year for these migrants?
$225 for 5 people to house.
Five
For you to
people.
house 5 people, family of 5, which their
Gotcha.
grocery bill could probably be maybe,
No.
I would say $200 a week.
I gotcha. Okay. So these are folks who don't have credit. These are folks who don't have some sort of income. These are folks that we're taking our tax money for them. Now, there's tax money that's also being used on something else, which is called Section 8 and vouchers. And if you really break it down, okay, a 2-bedroom in an area that cannot even house a $1,500 or $1,800, right? Let's just say Law in the City or any other areas that we know, right? They usually are much more. $1,800 a year is about what? It's almost
Well, I'll tell you
1,800.
right now. Funny enough, I'll just let you know right now. I actually do have a 2-bedroom that the vouchers had qualified it for $2,400.
Okay, so $2,400. So $2,400 for a year.
per month. $2,400 per month.
$2,400 per month times a
That's
year.
28, yeah.
28,800.
Divide that by 365.
Divide that by 365. That's $78.90 a day.
So we're giving more money to those folks that come on. I'm putting myself
from
on
God
mute.
knows where. From God knows
I'm putting
where.
myself on
is
mute.
always the
I'm putting
question.
myself on mute because honestly,
No,
seriously,
I like this because
I'm
it's
putting
true.
myself on mute because there's no come on. And then these folks at Section 8 vouchers are having the hardest time to find homes.
Yeah.
And yet we're over here come on, man.
And we're willing because
Come
quite
on.
frankly, at the end of the day, what's gonna happen, right? As human beings, what are we constantly thinking about? We're constantly thinking about having to pay our bills. We're constantly thinking about where the money's gonna come from, how we're gonna get our groceries. Cost of living is getting higher. They're saying that you have to be rich to live in the state of New York, to live in New York City now,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So
No,
if you tell me that I house people for an entire year and it's gonna be $225,000, that can easily pay off probably your entire mortgage for some of these folks.
I understand, but how do we? The thing is, why on this we're all taking care of our little self, like on that level.
course.
It's great, but then though the people who really need it, we cannot even take care of our own people
That's
that are in New
That's the
York.
part that gets me mad too. I'll be honest.
come on.
That's
That's so fucking annoying. I mean,
I
honestly,
mean,
That's right.
not everybody on Section 8 is taking advantage of the system. You have a lot of folks that really need a little bit of help. Like put yourself in some of those people's shoes. Like situation happen, you down on your luck, things like that, especially after COVID, and you might need a little. You've been paying your taxes all this time, and all of a sudden you might need a little bit of help to get out of your funk. And now you all the tax dollars is going to go to other things like that. And none of the landlords want. It's very hard to find a landlord that is willing to even consider a Section 8 or a city flat
Absolutely.
program.
Absolutely.
So
No,
on
they're out
this,
there.
it's like, and then you can't help but being political, unfortunately, on this point, or at least be, take a look at the human aspect of things and not only, I mean, there are so many different layers where a lot of things don't even make sense at this point to me
Yeah.
as a
Right.
human being.
Look, I mean, there's way too much homelessness. There's way too much other stuff.
No, it's true.
Not
It's
not
true.
not for nothing, and I get it. The countries that they're coming from, right? The countries we're not going to talk about all the countries, but the countries that
Right.
they're coming from, the countries that they're migrating from. Yeah, they're poorest countries too. Don't get me wrong. I looked at their financial too. They're poorest countries. They're going through a lot themselves. I get that. Okay, but the thing is, for us to have what a sort of Airbnb version of this entire thing, because that's really what it is, a Airbnb B version of this, where we don't need to check their credit, we don't need to check any of their backgrounds, we don't need to check their income.
They are no income. They're
Right?
living
It's
off of the
and we're
city's
just giving
money.
them safe haven. So, in other words, if it comes to a point, one thing's for sure: what happens in every law, there's a cause and effect for something. So, if at one point something stupid does happen, there's going to be a law for it. There's got to be a cause and effect to the point of there's a safe haven for it. Fine. How long? Is it going to be a 6 months or a year version of it?
Yeah.
Is it going to be,
Yeah.
and if it's 6 months, can I kick them out? Or do I have to renew the whole entire thing again? Right? It's like, these are things that, as a landlord, hey, listen, one thing's for sure, you don't want to be that type of landlord where you're kicking people out, because one thing, it's hard to kick a tenant out because there's so many rules and regulations. There's
Yeah.
not an at-will version of this. There's a law-abiding citizen situation where we got to go through courts and everything else like that. And it's not only migration court on this, but it also tenant courts on this. This is, whoa, that's not, no, sorry.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
mean, the
No,
question,
I'd
the
rather
question does
have-
become that. The
Right,
question
and,
does
I'm
become
sorry to
if they're
cut you
gonna
guys
be
off. One
going
more
by-
thing. I'd rather have, right, go to a big ass park. If you excuse my French, go to a big park, right? Go get a whole bunch of RVs and go do that. Just literally for you to do something.
Yes and no. Then it's
it's like,
the safety, and then it's another. I've seen what happens in France, where they have those huge parking lots and parks right on the outskirts of big cities, and they put people in trailers and tents and stuff like that. Then it becomes like,
it's a hard situation for them now. I mean,
and then many different things that happen. Then you have the cultural differences, and you have people that are being brought up from, like from countries where the mentality is so different. You have so many different issues to address, and then the safety, like how do people adapt like this, a total different culture, different language.
correct.
How
I
do,
agree
and then
1,000%.
how do you keep the safety from for the migrants, and how do you keep the safety for the citizens and the residents? It's like, whoa, okay. Who do we have in the bunch of migrants?
That's the thing. We don't know. We
Yeah,
don't know. And not for nothing, and they're all good points. All right. They're all good points, because at the end of the day, you're 100% right. These are the questions that people are going to have. Like, who are these people? Who are we housing? Like, can we kick them out if we feel like it? Can it happen from one day to the next if they're not living by the rules we have? You know what I mean? But at the same time, what's even scarier, and not to take you all down a rabbit hole, but what if I'm not saying that these folks don't have good intentions. I'm sure they are. They're fighting for survival, just like everybody else did. But at the same time, we must understand that we are humans, and we're going to take advantage whenever we see fit. So what if this is an opportunity for the wrong people to get into the country and establish themselves to then destroy something from within? Because everybody knows the way you take down great powers is from within. Never from the outside, it's from within. You know what I mean? So that's my concern. More as an American citizen is more of like, not like, look, I'm up for it. I'm up for helping people, but it's just the part when we're in a situation like Israel said where we need help. We haven't seen our own country help ourselves. you
Right.
know,
No, I know. I mean, I would have been very, very careful with, even as a leader of a large metropole like New York City, I would have been very careful just tossing that idea around, because it's just subject to so much contention. It just
100%.
raises so many human rights, civic rights, political, issues. I don't even think we're like even ready to, I mean, especially when you're just tossing the idea and nothing is in place. I would not have voiced anything right now if it was me.
My other concern is, quite frankly, and it's out there and people are aware of it, but again, what and it's vice versa too, right? What if the people that want to now take part in these programs are taking part in these programs with all the wrong intent? You know, what if they're taking part in these programs to now have access to individuals and do the wrong things? You know
You
what I mean?
will. We
Like
already
this
have.
is happening.
We have slumlords in New York City. We
A whole
have
bunch of them.
even those big New York City complexes, where that are insalubre. I don't even know how you say that in English. They have the safety and living conditions are not even acceptable for our
Yeah.
standards, and as a first world country,
You got
so
places
it's
that look like hostels that there's like three people in one room and they got,
three, five,
three beds,
yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, even those large, large, rental units and stuff, like people, like
Yeah. Listen,
same
like I
thing.
said,
You have mold. You
it's a
have
two-way street. It's a two-way street, and we'll see. We'll see where it leads. We'll see what the people say, because at the end of the day, the people got to agree to it. But it is interesting and scary at the same time because we don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't even know if the people are gonna have to vote on this, because when it's a matter of urgency, or
But
sometimes
urgent, but urgency to what? Like, who do we owe this urgency to that we have to act this way?
I you know I
Well, it's human rights. That's part of it.
no, I
That's for
know,
Yeah,
sure.
but a lot of those things, like, we're not there. Won't be any referendums to ask us whether what we think of it. Like, city council will pass will accept the proposal, yes or no, and they'll go probably a higher level to get more funding from the state, from the government, from the federal government. So we're not going to have a voice on this. I'm
yeah.
sorry to say
Wait, I'm a
that.
little confused. So, city council, you're saying that city council should vote on this?
I don't know how
Or,
they're going to layer that. I have no idea. I'm not a politician, and
yeah, I
but
don't.
I don't even think we'll have much to say as
Yeah.
as people, unless we start knowing a little bit more what's going on with that topic. And
Getting more involved.
yeah.
What I actually see, I mean, honestly, depending on how people, they can look at it in two-way road, right? I think that's a word we just used recently, in the sense of, you can see the investor saying, "Hey, listen, I can earn $250,000
A great, yeah,
and
great idea.
buy myself a couple of houses here and there and just do it that way." Or you can see the other folks who are just saying, "Hey, listen, I honestly don't want this around me, and it's time for me to move, or it's time for me to do this, it's time for me to do that." But all in all, I think it's a great idea, but I just really hope that they actually hit every check and balance as possible to do so. Because and it's like one of those, like, if you're doing 125 as an example, and this is just a number way of looking at it. If you're doing 125, and it's hitting and it's pretty much not only hitting the owner's pockets, how is that going to work tax wise, or how
Hmm.
is that going to come back to the city
Hmm.
Oh,
to be able to help out
listen,
the others? You know what I
you
mean?
know
It's
that
like,
the
good,
city's gonna want to make its money.
of course.
So if
So it's
they're
like,
giving you, I think if they're gonna give you $125 like dollars per person, like, you're also gonna get taxed on that money. Have to. There's no way that it's tax free, in my opinion.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
but I
No, it can't
highly
be.
doubt
Can't
that.
be. Yeah. And
I
we
highly
need
doubt
money.
that.
We need money.
And if you go ahead and you take that 125 and you minus, what would you say? Average tax 27%, 30%,
Make it 30 for now.
30%. $37.50 would have to go to Uncle Sam, and you're left with $87.50, which is $17.50 more than if you would have just rented it out to a
Yeah.
U.S. citizen.
Oh, okay. So, whose bird is that singing in the background?
Oh, the bird
So-
is back.
I know we gotta stop because
Bird is back.
Nah, I
That
know
bird.
we're gonna shine some sun. But so little background of my birdies. These are my pet birds. They don't. I don't
Unofficial
harbor
pet
them.
birds.
Unofficial, yeah. I don't harbor them. So unfortunately, I don't get $125 per bird. But the cool thing is that they like to sit on my windowsill and
All right,
sing
here goes,
songs.
here goes. And now you need to sing that song. That's it. Little bird
Three
singing on my
little
window.
birds outside my doorstep, singing sweet songs. Can you hear them? Of melodies pure and what is it? Pure and through.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Singing, this is my
that's
message to you. Ooh, ooh.
There you go. All right, guys, folks. So this was, I think it's sometimes important for us to voice our opinions and the things that affect us in the city and that will affect us as real estate agents and that will affect the life of the people we service. All right, as the consumer, our clients, so it is sometimes important to voice our concerns and just raise, the little issues and stuff like that. And I think we'll do that once in a while. All right, because we have to.
100%.
You guys need to know what we, and we need to be more aware of everything that is happening, that or
All
actually
around us.
shapes and molds the real estate market.
Right.
In the meantime, it's a fantastic weekend ahead.
It sure is.
Having their first Festival of the Art, the street fair. There'll be tens of thousands of people walking.
When is that? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. A lot of offices will have booths. We will definitely be out there. I'm sure. Ed, check with your brokerage. I'm sure they'll be around.
I'm sure they'll be out there.
No, but it's a great way of meeting the neighbors.
No, I want to go. It's just that I already got open houses, and chances are I'm gonna have appointments out here in Long Island, so I'm not gonna.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's basically from 10 to 9:30 to 6, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock to 6
on Sunday, not Saturday.
on Sunday. Yeah.
Damn, I want to go to the festival.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you'll have some music, some kids performing from the neighborhood. It's gonna be nice. A few good things happening in the neighborhood now that it's late spring, before the summer, before the launch of the summer
kicks off. Yeah,
enjoy it.
Yes, everybody should enjoy it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jam out, and feed the ducks.
But thank you guys for sharing your voicing your opinion, sharing your ideas, and thank you for not being overly political, which is great because I'm glad we're able to not put our emotions in that and our political affiliation. So I really do appreciate.
I was fighting back. I'm not gonna lie. I was fighting.
No,
back.
that's a very grown-up topic.
Back.
Right there. No, but sometimes it's good. We should be able to separate.
Sometimes, or most of the time, people just hate hearing the truth. It hurts. It sucks.
It's not. No, it's your truth. That's what it is. It's fine.
But yeah, let's talk about it. The best way to get through it is to talk about it, in my opinion.
You're right. So who's our MVP this week?
Francine. All
right, guys, enjoy your weekend.
Yes.
And go out there
sure.
and open houses.
Make sure you stop by. Make sure you stop by because we're gonna be out and about. I'm gonna be in Kew Gardens in East Elmhurst on Saturday, and then I'll be in Queens Village on Sunday. and then I gotta head out east.
Good. Israel, what you doing this weekend outside of
Well, you already know Sunday is going to be part of Forest Hills, so I'm actually going to be just in the trifecta. We're looking at it. Regal Park, Forest Hills, Kew Gardens.
Yeah.
Sunday, Saturday, it's going to be Forest Hills, Lawn City, and then heading over back to Forest Hills again.
All right, I'm going to finish preparing for that fair for everybody. And we still have Saturday open houses in Kew Gardens and Kew Garden Hills, so that's pretty cool. All right, and then Sunday the fair.
Sunday the fair.
That's it. Yeah, you should go. It's going to be fun.
I'm going to try to make it. Let me see what's up.
Yeah.
All right,
guys.
Peeps.
Everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much. See you
enjoy
next week. All right, we're out.
Let's go. Peace. Yeah, we out of here. Peace. We out of here.